Testing the mic. Just testing the mic. Testing the mic. I'm getting everything back up. I'm so sorry. Just give me one quick second. All right, so basically what happened is I got a phone call. It was a spam caller, and I had to end the stream abruptly because of my ringtone, which I will definitely be changing after this to something more generic. And yeah, I had to just end the stream because I didn't want to get sued for music copyright or have the stream taken down or get my account flagged and all that stuff. All that annoying stuff that comes with YouTube. So let's continue onward. Where was I? So I recall under the parsing, I was basically checking that under set that if, oh, where's my code? This doesn't look right. I'm losing my mind. Okay, here we go. I made it public. Someone is commenting in my channel. Yeah, okay. So basically, I'm going to try and find the server details, and if it's not yet added, then I'm going to go ahead and add it, and which is this part right here. And if it is added, then I'm just going to update it. So what I did last was I basically just made a really quick method that returned the index for the server details, and that's where we were so rudely interrupted. So now I'm going to go back down to the parse method where I was trying to process a shutdown packet. So basically, this is a server detail key where I try to get it when I do a shutdown, and I'm going to do int index equals return server details index, passing in the server details key, and if index equals -1, then go ahead and exit the method. That means there's no server listed, and I can't shut down or mark a server as shut down if it's not listed. Otherwise, and just to follow the previous code, I'm gonna do it like this. Actually, I'm gonna do it like this. If it doesn't equal -1, so basically if it is found, then all I'm gonna do is I'm just going to do active server details index dot server details dot inactive equals true. And I also have to update the tick on it. I'll explain what that does in a second. Let me go find my other code real quick where I do that. Let me just go back here. Okay, so this actually does it for me. I rewrote this code out to do it for me. Great. So I'm going to go back to the parse shutdown. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do if index doesn't equal 1. So if it's found, I'm going to do active server details index dot set server details, and I'm going to make this a little easier to read. Okay, so what I'm doing is if the server details are found in the active server detail list, keeping in mind this is a shutdown, indicating that the server is being shut down, it will store the server details locally. It's just fetching them from the array of active server details. It's going to set it as inactive, basically indicating that the server is no longer with us, whether it's because it timed out, or in this case, because they sent the shutdown message. And what that will do then is then on the same active server details, I'm going to call set server details, passing in the one we just modified, and now update it as inactive. And it'll also reset the last update tick. Now this is super important. This is how the clients determine, or this is rather how the server list determines if it's a new update or not, because a client will send a tick for the last update they received, and if this is newer, then it's going to send this information back to the client. So I guess we're ready to test this out if I got it right. Let's try it. Hopefully I didn't get lost in all the confusion. So let's hit play, and it's not going to work right away. It's going to throw an error because I don't actually have my server open. So you can see there, it's going to throw an error. Let me run the console. Okay, console's up. It's waiting for connections. Right now, this test just, it breaks if there's an error because I don't want to spam it. So it sent a new server, and it should be updating it, and then there's going to be a new read here in a second. There we go. So this is just information I put in that doesn't really matter, but you can see it's a new server name. The game mode is the time when it was last updated. This is just for the test. You can see that the game mode is updating roughly every 10 seconds because I have the server updating its server every 5, and the client is reading every 10. No really special reason, it's just that's how I'm doing it. So what I did, if we go look at the code here, is whenever, that's the wrong code, if whenever this object's destroyed, it should send the shutdown message to the server list. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's destroy this, and what we're hoping is the next time the client reads, this will go away. So let's try it out. Oh, didn't work. Did not work. It said it found an update though, but it's clearly still there. See, as you can see here, it says found one updated result. Yeah, that's interesting. So let me close this out real quick. I feel like it's sent, but it didn't go away on the UI. I wonder if, no, I do have destroy code, so I don't know why it's not on there. Let me just check real quick. Remove, read all, I'm just going through this real quick. Add, process, remove. Yeah, so I have code that should remove it. Let me go back to this real quick and see what could be going on. This is the actual console right here. Void parse shutdown. Yes, okay. So let's see, let's just write some console stuff here. Console.writeLine. I'm just gonna copy this to keep it somewhat familiar. Okay, shutdown. I'm gonna make this up here. There we go. sd.return server details key. Actually, you know, I'm gonna go undo that real quick. I'm gonna drop it down in here. This is basically gonna print a debug saying that it shut down the server. Why? Okay. This will give us some insight as what might be going on. You want me to do a code? You're trying to get me some haters, man. I will not do a code review on stream because you already know how picky I am. All right, so I added the server. I just tried to destroy it. All right, so it could not find server details for key, blah, 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 blah. It looks like this is telling me what my problem is right here. This is the authentication key to validate it's a server, the ABCXYZ. So I screwed up. So let's go back to this. And well, I didn't screw up per se. I got my terms mixed up, and this is exactly why I said I should probably change the name on them. And this is a prime example of it. That's foresight into making a mistake that I just made. So let's try it one more time. I'm gonna set the client to update every 6 seconds, so it's a little bit quicker. All right, so on my other screen, I can see that it did update the server details and the client got it. I'm gonna delete this. It still says it cannot find a server details for the key, and it's showing a key that looks right, but it's clearly not working. So what I can see on my end here is that this is basically saying it couldn't find a server details to remove. So let me look into that and see what could be going on. Because it is kind of weird. Okay. By the way, if you're wondering why I am using an array here instead of a list for the active or the updated server details cache, that's basically whatever server is updated to be sent to the client. I set it inside this buffer array basically, so I don't have to make a new list every time, which will create garbage. So this is just keeping garbage out of the project, which will increase performance. Unless you're Cooper, he really likes garbage. He loves garbage. It's like his life. He's who's that guy? Who's that guy on that kids show? That Oscar? Is it Oscar that lives in the garbage can? That's Cooper. That's what he is basically. All right, so I'm gonna do a quick thing here where I'm gonna do I'm gonna write the length of the key and then the actual key. Yeah, it is Oscar the Grouch. Okay, that's what I thought. I'm just streaming my work for the next supporter content. That's all I'm doing. to answer your question. Now it's got to let it pop up on the client. Perfect. I'm going to remove it. Let's see what we got on the console here. So it's 13 in length, and I see it right there. It looks like it's the exact same. Oh, one's 14, one's 13. I think I know what I did wrong. So what it's saying basically is the key I'm passing in is 14 in length, and the key that's stored for the server details is 13. I think I made a mistake. I broke the golden rule of read data as you pass in data. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. So let's see, back where I have my simulated server here. So I'm writing an NT string in my buffer, which basically means a null truncated string. Puts a 0 char at the end of it, so I can basically parse the string length without specifying the actual string length. So that's what that is. It saves a little bit of data potentially if your string is over a byte in size, so over 255 characters. And when I go back to my server list here, I'm reading remaining instead of reading NT, so it's actually picking up that byte. So I fixed that, so it's sending it without the null char, and I think that'll fix it. Let's go ahead and give it a try. All right, so it should have connected. Yep, it updated it. It's gonna pop up here in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the server. I got the request to shut down. It says it shut it down. And my Unity's frozen. Oh no, what did I do? My Unity's frozen. Okay, I got a socket exception. That's because I closed out of the console app. Interesting. I think it froze when the client tried to request new data. So let's try that again. Let's break things. Let's cancel this out. And let's set this to update every 10 seconds. That way I have a little bit of time to see if Unity is frozen or not after I delete it. All right, so it's gonna pull the latest update on the client here in a second. There it is. And now I should be able to shut it down, and I can still click around. So it's not frozen yet. That tells me that something's going on with the reader, because I guarantee... Oh, it didn't freeze that time. So it worked. It removed the server detail, and it didn't freeze that time. So I think what happened is probably maybe in combination with me closing the server socket and with the client socket also trying to read, I think it probably messed it up a little bit and froze Unity until I closed out of the console here. But like I said, that's one, you're only going to have either their server or the client. You're not going to have both. But also I'm going to make them async so that they can't lock the thread like that and screw everything up. So that's almost expected behavior, which I will definitely plan for. It is, however, working. It removed the server from the list, so that is good. We're going to do one more test just to make sure. Let's set the update interval on the client to, let's do it to like 4 seconds, and let's set the server to, let's say 12 seconds. All right, so it's going to add the server. That's going to work right away. The client's going to get that result that's expected. It's going to read a couple times before the server updates. Next time server updates, I'm going to delete it. Okay, it's updated, and now the next read from the client should get rid of this. Perfect. Working as intended. Great. Let me go ahead and back this up. Let's see, server list. You can't see what I'm doing over here. Shut down. Shut down. Packet type added. All right, cool. So that's working now. Let's go ahead and close this out. The next one we have to do is the ping one. Now, I told you before that if the server time... Cooper, come on! I'm actually pretty good looking as a girl. That hair doesn't look natural though. I'm looking at that picture you posted. Mirror dropped their serverless support and they're using Epic Games now. And I don't know I don't know if that's something they're still supporting as part of their premium package or whatever. But I can tell you that the Epic game thing is kind of hard to work with at first. It's very like they're okay. So if you don't have a history with Epic Games, I can tell you right now that their documentation is a pain in the butt to work with. It is annoying. So their Mirror is using Epic Games online services for their new serverless, and I wanted to make one that you can manage yourself if you wanted to. And I have a feeling that mine's going to also be more flexible than there. Well, it might not be because it's run by Epic Games now. But anyway, I wanted to make one that you could essentially customize very easily and run yourself without any hassle. And I also want to explore the idea of hosting it for people as well. But I'm not 100% sure on that just yet, though it is something I would definitely like to do. So we did the shutdown one, and I told you that they would also drop off on their own if they timed out. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm gonna go to my constants up here. Here we go. Refresh rate. This is how often the it keeps things competitive. This is how often the servers expect to update. So basically, if the server doesn't update at server refresh rate ×2, then a listing will be marked as inactive. So I'm going to show you that real quick. Yeah, that's fine. That means it'll go inactive at 8 seconds. So let's go ahead and let's start this back up. And I'm going to go over here into my server thing. And I'm going to change the update interval. It's already at 12 seconds. That's actually fine. So I'm going to hit play, which will connect and immediately add the server, and the read will pick it up in a second. I'm going to stop this so there's no coroutine running to update it. And you'll see here in a second that it's going to time out. It's going to be removed from here. It should take 8 seconds in total, unless I messed up. I think I messed up. Wait, did it just update again? How is it still sending? I disabled the object. I thought coroutines were supposed to... Oh my gosh, I'm so confused. Okay, let me open this up. I thought coroutines were supposed to stop when you disabled the object. I know they used to, because you can't start a coroutine on a disabled object. Whatever. Public will send updates equals true. So let's go back to this here. That's so bizarre. Maybe it's because it's in a loop or something. I don't know. That could very well be it. It's just interesting. All right, so the server got shut down because I closed Unity. That's expected. Now let's go try this again. All right, so a send, it's gonna read it in a second. Perfect. Now whenever I untick that, it shouldn't send the update. So it's gonna time out. Great, so the server timed out, and because it timed out, it's been removed from the list, and that updated clients. Now, I didn't shut the server down. Like I said, it timed out. So completely different thing. That's in a scenario that some reason your server just stops working, crashes, whatever. It will be removed from the server list. Now, the other thing we need is the ping packet, which is going to be very, very easy. the ping packet or whatever is basically just keeping the server alive. I just realized something that might be a problem. Let me look at my code here real quick. Okay, so this last update tick is the last time the server was updated, and I'm pretty sure that this is used in checking for if it timed out too. So let's see. Yeah, this is what's used to see if it times out as well, but it's also used to determine what to send to new clients. So what I have to actually do here is I need to add another Boolean. True if server details were updated. I'm going to change this to update server details for clarity. And do public void update last update tick. That's confusing. Let's call it, no, let's just call it last tick, because that's confusing a little bit. Okay, so update last tick, this is a method, and this is just going to run this code here. Updates the last tick to the current time. I'm gonna call it right here. Okay, so what I need to do is, oh geez, another problem. I can't just keep this as updated because it's just gonna stick as updated. So I need to actually add like a whole nother tick. Let me just put this right here. Last update tick, basically kind of undoing what I just did. Okay, so I renamed it from last update tick to updated tick, and I'm gonna make a new one called public long keep alive tick. Last time keep alive was received for this server details, or for this entry, we'll just say that. All right, so what I'm doing basically is I'm having two different ticks, one for when it's updated so that I can send updates to clients, and one for keep alive so that I know the last time the server has basically pinged the server list. Because I was using this one, get rid of this. I was using this updated tick to time out servers too, but if I just keep updating this, it's going to send the server details to clients every single time a server sends a keep alive, and that's just not good because they go off from this to determine if it's been updated. All right, so now let's go back to the timeout servers here, and instead of checking against the, where is it? Instead of checking against the updated tick, I'm going to check against the keep alive tick. And if beyond inactive time, then set as inactive. I'm going to change this to keep alive. I'm gonna come back to this in a second. I just need to do one more thing. All right, so I obviously, if it received an update, then obviously it received the keep alive at the same time, right? Because that means the server is active. So I'm going to update the keep alive as well if I update the update tick. So what the timeout servers is doing is it's essentially checking the last time that it received the keep alive tick. And if that time is beyond when a server should time out, then it will set it as inactive. And it will then set the keep alive a tick to the current time, which, where is it? Right here is the current time now. And I feel like I should change this a little bit. I don't think I'm using this part anymore, actually. So this is basically saying if the server is not yet inactive, then it will mark it as inactive if it's beyond the timeout rate. So if it's already inactive, then it's going to check if it's above the remove rate, which should be functional because the remove rate is the refresh rate times 3 and the timeout rate is the refresh rate times 2. So that should be work. It'll remove it from the list and then it'll just reduce the entry 1 so that it won't skip any entries during the check. And I guess I don't need this now. All right. That should work. I'm gonna have to retest everything because I changed the code a little bit, but let's go ahead and do that now actually. All right, so it sent the update. It's going to pick it up next read, and I'm going to disable send updates. Oh, I broke it. Or maybe it just didn't send. Okay, so it should time out here in a second. It's not timing out, is it? Did I break it? I broke it. I had that bit of code in there for a reason, and I don't know why. Remember how I said I kind of just put things in all willy-nilly like and all over the place? And but I still try to keep it neat so I can understand it. Well, I pulled a new move and I didn't add comments as to why I did something, and now it's biting me back because yeah, so it should be timing out, but it's not timing out. But if I delete this, I guarantee you it's going to work because the shutdown code should still work. Oh, it says it couldn't find it. So I think what's going on is that I think it's removing it, but not telling the client that it's updated. Let's see what could be going on with that. First, I'm going to make sure I have all the references here. Keep alive tick. Check, check, check. Okay. Let me go up to the server timeout rate. I'm going to... It should be fine. I'm pretty sure it's timing out the server, but let me just double check here. I'm going to add some debug here. Oops. Oh, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. I found an issue. So basically what's happening is I'm marking it as inactive, but I'm not indicating that it's been updated. And that's why I had the whole long thing in there before. So this is code that has to look cleaner because this was confusing. Updated tick equals now binary. All right, so I need to definitely do this sum on the way because it's a little confusing and I don't like it. Marks, let me just make some big comments here. Marks the server details as inactive, then resets the updated tick so that clients will refresh, getting the new inactive state. How can I make this neater though? Let's say add option to set server details, which will update tick as well, and use that instead of this. Okay, that should work though as a temporary fix. Let's go ahead and run it and try it out. Okay. Did it get the server? All right, so there's a server. I'm gonna stop sending updates. And it should time out in about 7 seconds. Oh, it just timed out, great. All right, so that worked. See you later. Have a good one. And now if I click to send again, it should send a new result. Perfect. And then if I unclick it, it will time out. That timeout seems a little fast. That doesn't seem right to me. I feel like the server is timing out way quicker than it should. So let's change this to 6 seconds because the timeout interval is 8 seconds, so it shouldn't be timing out that quickly. So if this gets removed next read, I know something's wrong. Yeah, something's wrong. Let me just take a quick look at the code here. Yeah, so it's timing out too quickly. I broke it nice and good. What did I do? I feel like, no, I wonder if it's not removing the server and it's still marked as inactive. I don't think it is because it should mark the server as active when it sends new data, but let's just find out what's going on here real quick before I make any assumptions. Okay. That's a lot of seconds. That explains why it's being removed. I'm in the wrong one here. Nope, that is the right one. So the seconds is clearly wrong. Update keep alive, that's correct. Oh, when it creates a new, okay, more comments time. Let's do this. Let's do the key equals key, and let's use update server details, passing in the server details rather than using the same code in multiple places when it ultimately does the same thing. I see this a lot in a lot of solutions where the code could be reused instead of just kind of copy and paste it in multiple sections, and that's very frustrating because it can create bugs like the one we just saw. Basically what happened is the keep alive was being set when the server details were updated, but not when it was originally being added. So it was being removed essentially as soon as it was being added because the keep alive tick wasn't set. So we're gonna do this real quick, and we're gonna add a boolean update keep alive. All right, so I'm gonna do if update keep alive, then it's going to go ahead and do that. And we're gonna do true for when the server thing is added initially. There should be some more errors. This is for shutting the server down. Yes, we want to update it when it shuts the server down as well, because we don't want it to, I mean, it shouldn't matter really, because it's gonna be marking it as inactive regardless when you shut it down. And when it gets new server details, we also want to update it. Now I'm gonna go back to the timeout real quick. And I'm gonna do ASD dot. Oh, you know, I'll do that later. I'll deal with that later. I can do it right now. All right, so it sent it. It should appear, and you can see the time is now more reasonable. It's 6 seconds, 1 second, then 6 seconds. It's actually still possibly going to remove it because this is set to send every 12 seconds, which means it probably won't update in time. Yep, so it would have just marked it as inactive right there, but it got to send requests just in time. So now if I stop sending updates, this should drop off. Let's just double check that real quick. Okay, so right here is where it should have dropped off. So the next read should find it. Oh, crud, Unity's frozen again. Interesting. Okay, well, that's fun. I don't know how I broke it this time. Okay, come on. There we go. Let's try this. Oh no, wrong button. Let's try this again. I know it's because of socket errors. I know it's definitely something to do with socket errors, and that's why I probably need to make that a priority to async those pretty quick. All right, so I'm sending it to the server. It's been sent. I'm gonna uncheck the interval so it doesn't send it again. It's got the entry. It should time out here in a second. Right there, 9 seconds is greater than 8, so it should time out. And perfect. So we got the timeouts working again. I'm gonna do another push to the get. Let's see. Timeouts working with I'll just say timeouts working with keep alive work in progress. So I haven't actually set up the keep alive packet yet, but that's actually going to be very easy to do. So all I gotta do to this is go to my send or update servers method here, and if there's no new servers, then I'm going to create one. Otherwise, I'm going to just go ahead and send a keep alive. I think I might have to just copy and paste some code for this. I'm going to make a new method here just so it doesn't get too convoluted and messy. Send keep alive. Okay, send. I'll just do keep alive. Enter. This is just so I can kind of track the cycle of it. It doesn't really mean anything. So I'm gonna write the request type of .keepalive, and I'm going to I do actually need to pass in the server details too. And I'm going to pass in the password to the server or the server list. And I'm going to also write in, I'm going to write a string, and the string is going to be sd.return the server details key, which we talked about before. The key is used to know what server is being updated, basically. And I'm going to go ahead and write that data to the stream here. So this is a keep alive, which should work. It's going to send the keep alive request, and we aren't processing it yet, but this should be really easy. So let's go down to where I parse my packets. Okay, I'm going to do else if request type equals request types dot keep alive parse keep alive reader client. And some of these I'm not actually using the client, but sometimes I am. And I'm just passing in because it doesn't really cost much extra data or anything like that. This is all done locally. So I'm going to take the code from parse shutdown, and I'm going to copy it and paste it. And I'm going to rename it to parse keep alive. And I'm probably going to do the next part off stream because I don't want to break my train of thought. But I'm going to organize all this because I got like 4 methods here that are basically more or less doing all the same thing, but with a very minor change. So I'm going to tidy that up, and I'm probably going to do it off screen because I don't want to mess up my concentration. So let's get rid of this part. I don't need this anymore. I don't need that anymore. All right, so again, I'm going to try and find the received key, which is the authorization key. I'm just going to say auth password. Rename that. Auth password. And I should have one more. I feel like I'm going to remove this part here and just pass it in as it is, even if it is empty, because the server secret matches code should be able to validate that no problem. Parse read, this is what the client sends. It doesn't send any passwords, so I don't have to worry about that. Let's go to here real quick though. Yeah, that should be fine. I don't think I have to check it ahead of time. So let's go back to right here where I do the parse keep alive, and it's going to be very simple. It's going to again find the server details, and if it is not found, it's going to throw a little warning here, which shouldn't be an issue. This shouldn't really happen, I wouldn't think. Well, it could, I suppose. Like maybe if the server goes link dead and then it just like sends a packet later for whatever reason, I suppose that could happen. It won't hurt anything though. Okay, so let's just change this to keep alive. And all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do active server details index dot update keep alive tick. And this is just for some debug. I'm not going to really be too concerned with that. Okay, so that should work. I'm expecting this to work first try. Let's find out. I'm going to first change the keep alive thing here to like 6 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and hit play and move this over. So it got the server details on the initial set. It's definitely resetting to keep alive because you can see the timers there. And I'm a little concerned that it says updated 1 server details though. That doesn't seem right to me because Let me just check the code real quick. Where is that? Yeah, so this is under the parse set. It's trying to set the data instead of using the keep alive. So did I send? Let me just check something real quick. I definitely have keep alive in there. You know, I probably didn't update my method in the test. Yeah, I didn't. I'm not calling it. That's all it is. Easy peasy. Let's just comment out all this. Okay, so I'm sending the keep alive instead of trying to actually update it. I just forgot to activate the code I copy and pasted. Let's try it again. All right, so 1 second expected, that's right. Got request of keep alive. It's saying that it kept it alive, and as you can see, the timer reset, so that's perfect. In addition, it's not being removed from the collection here. Did it freeze? Unity froze on me. I think what's happening is I think Unity is freezing when both the sockets are trying to do things at the same time. I think that's exactly what's happening. I'm gonna try one more time. All right, so it updated it. I should get a keep alive. Perfect. The client pulled it in. Hopefully I can see this work without it freezing. Okay, so it got another keep alive. So I'm gonna stop sending keep alives right now. Okay, so it should have just marked it as invalid, and it did because the client couldn't find it. Next refresh. So everything's done, kind of. I mean, the code's a mess. It needs to be cleaned up, but it works. Everything works. The shutdown works, the keep alive works, the set works, the read updated to only get updated results work, and the read all works. Also, if you, on the server here, if you use a parse read, for example, which could be read updated or read all, if you, what is this? Okay. If you basically try to read updated and the client hasn't refreshed in a timely manner, basically saying that if it's possible that servers were dropped off without the client knowing, then it'll just go ahead and send a read all anyway. It works intelligently that way. So everything works. This is pretty happy with this. I don't think I need the client refresh rate at the moment. Get rid of that. That was supposed to be used to stop abuse, but I changed the purpose of it, and I need to do it a different way. All right, so basically what this is saying is if the last time the client has updated has been longer than the server timeout rate, which is twice as long as the server is expected to update, then it will send all the data to the client. So let's say the server is supposed to update every 4 seconds here. If it goes longer than 8 seconds because of the timeout rate from when the client requests new information, then it'll just send them all the data. Now 4 seconds is obviously unreasonably long, or short, sorry. So I'm gonna put this back to 60 seconds. This is how often the servers will send, are expected to send a keep alive by or update the information by. And if any reason it reaches 120 seconds, then the server will be set as timed out. And if it reaches 3 times this value right here, then the server will just be removed completely. The difference is between being timed out and removed completely is whenever it times out, it marks the server as inactive. And I know I already covered this, I'm just going over it again real quick. It marks the server as inactive, and but it doesn't remove it yet from the servers list. So that inactive change is then sent to clients the next time they refresh, so that they know to remove it from their list. Versus this, where it just removes it from the list entirely, and the update's not sent to clients. Now that's not really a problem, because the client, if their refresh rate is beyond this, basically meaning they could have possibly missed that removal, it'll just request all the current information again, and it will give them all the server details. So it's like a win-win. Basically, it shouldn't be possible to break. So like I said, everything's working now. I definitely need to clean up the code a bit. It's very disgusting looking. I still have more comments than a lot of projects and stuff, but it's still not really up to my standards. So I'm going to clean up the code. I'm going to do it off stream. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. I will be, and if you don't know where to find me, I'll be on my Discord. Who? Okay. I got distracted. All right. Thank you all for watching. I'm logging off. See you later.